and I said we'd go into niching and avatars in slightly more detail, because for online in particular, it's important when we look at the size of the global market. There's three different ways to approach a marketplace. You've got this little diagram, you've got this little diagram, and you've got this little diagram. And when we're looking at online, this is our optimal. Why? Because it's narrow to narrow. In other words, it might just be you to a small audience, which is obviously a niche. The reason that these don't necessarily work online, although this is the slightly better option, is because of this global marketplace. So this is you to a huge amount of people. Now, unless you have a massive online reputation already, and or the ability to have a huge budget for promotions, this is going to be incredibly difficult to achieve. Whereas this would be lots of different experts, so at least you bring in their ability to help with promotions, their ability to reach out to people, and the audience that you're targeting is narrowed. And there are some models like this, for example, LTB has this model, VIP had this model, which is a band of experts delivering to a smallish, but not necessarily very small, niche. So that was delivering to the fitness niche. But the one we're looking at from your point of view is narrow to narrow. So what is a niche? Well, what it's not is something like fitness or weight loss. Although that appears to be a niche, it's not small enough for this narrow to narrow. It's actually this, which is way too much. So how do you choose an actual niche for online? You need to think about the 4 Ps. So that would be prune, person, and although I hate the use of this, their pain, and what the profit is. And this is why you need a plan. So you need to get this down. That's the prune. So for example, when we prune this, what are some trending or current problems that people are looking at? So trending and current problems might be diabetes. It might be a bit more, that'll be on the health side. On the sort of vanity fitness side, it might be getting abs. So now we're starting to prune a little bit. Not hugely yet, because we're going to go back to this formula. So what sort of person are we going to be looking at? Okay, so for diabetes, we might be looking at type 2, and they might be over a certain age, say 45 plus. I actually have some Indian genealogy, and diabetes type 2 actually is higher in Asian communities, so you might well be thinking Asian community. And then you might be thinking, actually, well, let's do female. And you're starting to narrow it down. Yeah, with getting abs, okay, who's interested in getting abs? Well, you've got females and males nowadays getting abs. But the trending would be all these male fitness models, so I'd be looking at men. And then you might go, okay, who's really, really of the males into having abs? And that might be a certain age range. So we might say 21 to 35. We might say they have to be single. And we might take it even further. Guys who really look after themselves might also potentially be gay. So now we are pruning this niche according to not the traditional stuff, which used to be things like geography, income, you know, education. Obviously male, female was one. But actually, we're now pruning according to what's popular and trending and therefore likely to get traffic, particularly if we do some blogs and videos and stuff like that. And we can actually do sort of a long key word search on this to find out what's popular in these niches and what's trending. And I'd also recommend BuzzSumo for that as well, looking at popular articles on this. And you can actually check that getting abs fast, for example, would be a popular topic by checking things like searching on things like Udemy, Facebook, doing a Twitter hashtag search, YouTube, you know, even your Snapchat and Instagrams, your Kindle books. Seeing how popular a niche this is, what the level of competition's like, what the shares are like, what your potential long SEO words would be like, to help you establish whether this is a niche you should be getting into, getting abs fast, for example. Then we have to look at the pain points. Okay, now this isn't like really dragging it out for people as to why they're in so much pain. It's what problem are you solving when you go to this niche? Because that's the point. What are you solving for them? You're solving the problem that they don't have abs and they'd like abs. That's the problem you're solving. That's your 100% message in this narrow to narrow niche. You're going to help gay men who are single between 21 and 35 solve the problem that they want to look buff and get some really good abs on them. Yeah? Okay, and then is this a profitable niche? Is there a way that you can make money from this niche in return for your expertise in resolving this problem? So, for example, do the people that we're targeting have reasonable disposable income? Well, generally, gay men don't have families. They do nowadays, but at a certain age level, they're less likely to have a family. So therefore, they are more likely to have a disposable income. There will be another way to create profit is in the affiliate market. So are there companies selling products and services that you can align yourself to create extra sales once you've got an audience by providing affiliate links and that type of thing? So that might be clothing, supplements. It could even be, if you get a really good audience here, holiday companies. So you have to think outside the box a little bit. So the only other questions to really ask yourself if you're looking to create this online business and you've, starting to determine a really good niche and it's checking out on all your searches, is are you passionate enough about this topic to make a living, because you are going to be writing about it, doing photos, videos, adverts, a huge amount. So it's got to be something you can talk about in depth, because the more in depth you go, the better it is for your SEO. Sorry, this is getting really messy, but it always does, doesn't it? The longer an article is and the deeper it goes into a subject, the better Google likes it for ranking. The more likely you are to show up on things like BuzzSumo, for example, and become the expert. So do you have enough passion about this particular niche and topic to do all of this? Do you actually have the knowledge or expertise, or can you go and get it? Because you do need to be an expert in the subject. You can't just waffle your old way through it. Are you going to have the time? Because people seem to think online is really fast, and it isn't. You need the time to put into this. I mean, we are looking 1 to 3 years of not full-time work, but pretty extensive work in building this content and building this traffic, no matter, well, if you've got millions behind you, maybe not, but at your level, having some money to put into it on the stuff that matters, which at this point is your marketing, and being able emotionally and time-wise as well to continually follow up on all of this to create this awesome niche. So when you see overnight successes that have got these niches that you think, my God, they're making millions, like the body coach. I mean, he had actually quite a big, you know, model there. But he did do it on a newish platform, Instagram. And if you look back on how much they were posting, how much content they were putting out there, you will find this years to years to years. It's not overnight, it's not sudden. Yes, it can be a blueprint, but that blueprint isn't a shortcut. That blueprint simply helps you plan so that you know who, what, when, where, how.